So about a month ago I made a video about my little nano head style LM386 based runoff groove Little Gem Mark II circuit here, and at the end of my last video I was waiting for some LM386 chips to come in, and so when I got my new chips in, that started a whole chain of events that was very frustrating for me. I bought 10 LM386s from Jameco on eBay, and then I bought 5 LM386 MM1s from another seller on eBay. So when I put these chips into this circuit, all I got was very loud, aggressive oscillation that sounded like it was going to blow my speaker up, farting noises. It would not even pass a signal. I could not get anything out of these chips. So I initially thought, well, these must be, crap chips. They're just selling faulty chips. They're counterfeits or whatever. So I watched some videos about how to detect counterfeit chips, and I mean not counterfeit chips, but salvage chips. I thought they might be salvage chips as well. But if you look at these carefully, these show no signs of having been pulled from a circuit board or anything. They look factory new. And the same thing with all 10 of the other ones I got from Jameco. They all look factory new. There's no evidence of them being pulled from some circuit board. The pins they had that angle to them where they're kind of bent out like this, and you have to kind of bend them in to put them into a socket. I mean, if somebody was going to pull these from a board, I don't think they would go through that kind of trouble to make them look like they're brand new. I mean, the pins aren't shiny, none of that stuff. So I started doing some more research, and I had learned, of course, about putting the electrolytic capacitor on pin 7 to bypass it if you have power supply noise. But I was really going nuts. I was thinking I had done something wrong. I was thinking I'm an idiot, I can't do anything right anymore. There's some kind of weird thing, like maybe I couldn't figure out what the deal was. So I watched some more YouTube videos, and somebody was mentioning that you need to put a capacitor, an electrolytic capacitor, between pin 4, which is ground, and pin 6, which is the power supply on this chip, and they need to be very close to the chip and so on. And so when I put that capacitor literally right underneath each chip in this circuit inside of this little nano head style mini amp, all of a sudden this circuit became actually usable. So I spent like 2 weeks being really frustrated and annoyed and thinking, man, you can't even get frickin' chips off eBay that aren't counterfeit and all this stuff. Turns out that the chips seem to be legitimate, but the question is, why are they acting like that? I have chips that I bought like 10 or 12 years ago from Radio Shack. They work just fine in here. When I put these supposedly brand new chips in here, all I get is completely unusable noise and frustration and everything. So I put some posts online on some one forum that I've been at for many years, and one of the members there had mentioned that they manufacture these things close to some boundary, and it may just be that the manufacturing has gotten so good that they make these things so they're right on the knife's edge of the parameters. So all that to say, You know, if you get chips and they seem to be unusable and you think, oh, maybe they're Chinese counterfeits, not necessarily so. I think these are all genuine National Semiconductor LM386s, but for whatever reason, these just will absolutely not work at all unless you have that capacitor between pin 4 and pin 6. I don't know why it is, but that's the case. And what's perplexing to me is why are my chips from 10 to 12 years ago perfectly functional in this thing, but these new ones, unless you have that capacitor literally right at the chip, it's a completely unusable circuit. So I don't understand that, but I just thought I'd make this video real quick just to say that, you know, if you have that situation and you think that maybe these things are counterfeit or they're factory rejects or whatever, maybe not necessarily so. I do know that they do that with certain chips, certain amplifier chips. I've heard that LM386s are going to be obsolete now, but I mean, why would somebody want to counterfeit LM386s when they're not even obsolete? Now there are other chips that can be in that camp, or they could be pulled off a board and, you know, salvaged and sold online, you know, as I guess as new, and they're not. And, you know, sometimes those work fine, sometimes they don't. But, you know, there's telltale signs. None of these chips show any of those signs. They all look factory new. So all that to say, if you, like, say, build the Little Gem MKII and you get brand new LM386s and all you have is squealing and farting noises and it won't even pass a signal, try sticking an electrolytic cap right at the IC chip. In my case, I used 47 UF at each chip, and you know, I went from a completely unusable thing that I wanted to literally smash with a sledgehammer to something I use fairly regularly now, and I'm happy with it. So, just a word of warning to you all who used LM386s.